Hello everyone! In this video, we will talk about the Assure model. So let's watch and learn! In designing a lesson with the integration of technology, it is crucial to observe a framework that can act as a guide in its formulation. The Assure model identifies 6 elements in the instructional process. So let's talk about it and let's try to discuss about it. The Assure model is a guide in crafting an instructional flow that can guide the teacher integrating appropriate technology and media into the instructional process. It is also refers to a systematic approach that the teacher can use when writing an instructional plan. Theoretically, it is a mental framework that a teacher considers. So as a future educator, someday we should learn about this Assure model for us to be an effective teacher. This model is composed of 6 essential steps in planning instruction. So let's talk about the first letter, the letter A. A is to analyze learners. With the learner as a center of the instructional process, the initial consideration is to get a clear picture of the learner's learning styles, age, level, interests or preferences, background, special needs, and cultural diversity. Let's try to understand this in simple way. So when we talk about analyzed learners, as a future educator, let's put in our mind, who is the audience? Who are my students? Try to study about their demographics, their general characteristic. 3, their entry competencies, and 4, their learning preferences. So as you go on, so in every step, so the first step is to analyze learner. Analyzing our learners, we will have a conducive environment for us to discuss the things we have to and to have to be an influence for our learners someday. So as a future educator, let's always remind ourselves that let us first analyze our learners before doing anything else.
The second step of the procedure is state objective. This is the main instruction guide that will direct the flow to reach the target, known as the learning outcome expected of the lesson. This statement describes what the learner will be able to perform as a result of the instructions. After the analysis of the learner attributes, the teacher must state standards and objectives. This statement consists of the specification of what the learners will be able to do as a result of the instruction. To be more concrete about things, this statement will focus on what the learner will know to be able to do as a result of the instructions. An example of this is with medical students. The learner will be able to name at least 2 databases and 2 search techniques that can use to locate medical evidences for particular cases. The objectives can be used in assessing the success of the students, perhaps for grading processes. Also, you can use them to let the learners know what they will accomplish through the class.
Methods. Method refers to the technical process used to create visual communication. It's about how you deliver the lesson. For example, you might choose a lecture, group discussion, or hands-on activity depending on the situation matter and the learning styles of your students. And the media, these are the applications used to make the visual communication. Media can be composed of active learning strategies such as a group discussion or case studies. For example, students' video projects can be a powerful learning experience. And also the materials. Materials refers to the surface or substrate that visual communication is applied to or constructed form. These are the physical text resources you use in your lesson. They might include textbook, hands-out, or digital resources like websites and ups. The teacher needs to consider the learning needs and objectives as well as the characteristic of the learners when selecting the methods, media, and materials. And for example, a hands-on activity might be the best method for a science lesson, while a documentary film might be the most effective media for a history lesson. The materials could include a lab kit for the science lesson and a viewing guide for the history lesson. Remember, the goal to select the methods, media, and materials that will most effectively help your students achieve the desired learning outcomes. It's all about creating an engaging, inclusive, and effective learning environment.
In the word assure, the letter U means utilizing methods, media, and materials. Having selected the strategy, media, and materials is halfway of the task done. Planning how to implement this entails a lot of consideration. Bearing in mind the learning outcome of the lesson, the teacher decides which part of the instructional flow will a particular material or technology be employed and the manner on how it will be more effective to achieve the learning outcome. When it comes to utilize methods, media, and materials, it means making the most out of various tools and resources to achieve your goals. These steps involves using different techniques, platforms, and materials that are relevant to your task or project. To effectively convey your message or achieve your goals, it all comes down to select the appropriate channels and mediums. The secret is to use digital technologies, conventional media, and physical things in a way that improves your work and establishes a connection with target audience.
Require learner participation. Require learner participation refers to the need for students to actively engage in their own learning. So this means that students should be encouraged to participate in discussion, activities, and decision-making processes related to their education. So example of required learner participation is Quiz B or group activities. So this activity not only test their knowledge but also encourage them to work together and share their ideas. The learners have to be made to understand their role in taking accountability of their own learning. So it is important for learners to understand that they are responsible for their own learning and they should take an active role in managing their progress. So example of how students can take accountability of their own learning. Sample of this is setting goals. So these goals can be academic, personal, or skill-based. So by setting goals, students have a motivation to work together.
In terms of the sixth performance and the last element, evaluate students' performance. In this step, you evaluate the impact of your teaching on student learning. Assessing learners' performance can take place across phases of the lesson. However, it is emphasized that the rule is that the evaluation should be congruent to the learning outcome provided in the lesson. This part will assist you in determining whether the objectives met your plan, whether the students reach the objectives, as well as improving the lesson, particularly in aiding the weakness in your presentation, whether your choice of media and materials are good one, and the effectiveness of these tools. Some learning outcomes can be assessed by using rubric or having an aggregated write-up through the use of a portfolio assessment such as research, journals, written activities, etc. Hence, the teacher decides which is appropriate for the intention of the evaluation activity. The reason why this last step is as crucial as the others.